Hi, I'm Jess. Welcome to today's class. We have a full body, no props workout. So all you need is yourself and a mat. And let's get started. Coming onto our knees and let's sink down onto the heels. We're just going to take attention to our breath to start. Taking one hand onto the belly, one hand onto the heart, and closing the eyes over for a moment. Good, okay. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose here. And then deep breath out through the mouth. Good, let's keep that going. Deep breath in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. Releasing any tension from the day. Good, one more just like that. Deep breath in. And then breathing out. Relaxing into the mat, bringing the shoulders back and down. Good, okay. From here, opening the eyes back up again. And let's rest the hands down. Coming on to some neck mobility. Really nice and slow. We're going to turn the head to one side, looking over that shoulder. Lovely, and then from there coming back through center and over to the other side. Lovely, nice and slow coming through center from there. And then if we tilt the chin up towards the ceiling, holding that stretch down the front of the neck. And then bringing the chin down towards the chest. Holding that stretch in the back of the neck. Lovely, bringing the head back up through center from there. And from here, we're going to tilt the head. So we're bringing the ear down towards the shoulder. Should feel a nice stretch into the side of the neck here. And then coming up through center and over to the other side, bringing the ear down towards the shoulder. Lovely, and coming up through center from there. Good, from here, let's come on to hands and knees. We want hands underneath our shoulders and knees underneath our hips. And we're going to start to warm up our spine with some cat-cows. Dropping the belly down, lifting up the chin and chest. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose here. And then as we exhale, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin down towards the chest. Amazing, and alternating between the two. So dropping the belly down, lifting up the chin and chest once more. And then as we exhale, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin down, eye gaze back towards the legs. Lovely, and then from here, let's come back to our neutral position, nice straight back. From here, we're going to lift the right hand up, stretching that hand up towards the ceiling, turning to face to the right side. And then we want a slight bend into the left elbow, and we're going to thread the right arm underneath the left, and we can rest the head and shoulder down here for a moment. Good, and then coming back up onto both hands, and then swapping sides. So we're stretching the left hand up towards the ceiling, turning to face to the left side, lengthening through the fingertips here. And then we want a slight bend into the right elbow, and we're threading the left arm underneath the right this time, resting the head and shoulder down again. Good, and then coming up back onto both hands from here. Lovely, stepping one foot back at a time and tucking the toes under. We're going to lift the legs up, coming into our high plank here. Good, shoulders above our hands still, and hips nice and low. We want our core engaged here, so I want you to imagine drawing your belly button in towards your spine and bringing your ribs down towards your hips slightly. Good, holding here for a moment, and then we're going to send the hips up and back, head comes down, finding our downward dog, holding here, and then we're going to pedal out the feet. So we're pressing one heel down towards the mat at a time, bending the opposite knee, stretching out the calves, nice and slow here, working through that pedal. Good, we'll do that for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting both heels up and then pressing them down towards the mat for one last deep stretch of the calves. Lifting the heels back up, and let's round through the spine, bringing our weight forward and bringing the hips down, coming back into our high plank. Good, and then alternating between the two, sending the hips up and back, head comes down, back into our downward dog, and then rounding through the spine once more, coming back into our high plank, holding here. Then we're going to drive the left knee in towards the chest and take that foot in between the hands, dropping down onto the right knee and tucking the right toes, sweeping the arms up overhead, sinking down into that stretch down the right hip. Lovely. From here, let's take both hands back down to the mat. Tucking the right toes under, we're going to step back into our high plank, so the left foot comes back, and then we're swapping sides, so driving the right knee forward, taking that foot in between the hands, dropping down onto the left knee, and tuck the toes, and let's sweep the hands up overhead. Good, holding that stretch down the left hip this time. Amazing. From here, let's take both hands down, staying on the left knee. We're going to take the right knee back as well. And then from here, pressing the body up, sinking down onto the heels. Good, well done. Okay, coming on to our first main exercise. So if you want to come onto the bum from here, and let's come towards the front of the mat. We want knees bent and heels in nice and close to the bum. We're going to come into a shoulder bridge. So we want feet kind of a knuckles distance apart, so quite close together and in nice and close to the bum. Holding on to the backs of the legs, really nice and slow. We're going to round through the spine and roll the back all the way down to the mat. And then taking palms down to our sides, pressing into the mat, making sure the shoulders are nice and relaxed, back and down, and finding a nice neutral position with our spine here. Good, okay. When you're ready, we're going to take a breath in to prepare. And then as we exhale, we're tilting the pelvis, so flattening the lower back onto the mat, and then we're peeling the spine up off the mat, lifting the hips up, lifting the lower back, mid back, coming all the way up to the shoulder blades, and then holding at that furthest point. We want to take a breath in as we hold. And then as we exhale, nice and slow, working our way back down, one bone at a time. Good, and then finding that neutral position at the bottom. Amazing. Let's take a breath in here. And then as we exhale, tilting the pelvis again, so flattening the lower back onto the mat and then pressing up through the feet, focusing on that spinal movement as we come up, one bone at a time, working our way up to the shoulder blades and then engaging the glutes at the top here, squeezing the glutes and inhale as we hold. And then as we exhale, nice and slow, working your way back down. And again, finding that neutral position at the bottom. Amazing. Okay, on this next one now, adding on another layer, pressing up into our bridge just as we did before. So we're peeling the spine up off the mat, holding at that furthest point, and we want to freeze the hips here. We don't want them moving. From here, let's lift the hands up off the mat and sweep the arms up overhead. Hips stay nice and still, focusing on engaging those glutes, and then sweeping the arms back up overhead, taking palms back down to the mat. And then from here, we're rolling the spine back down, working our way down to the mat, nice and slow, finding that neutral position at the bottom. Amazing. Reset here. Let's take a breath in. And then as we exhale, we go again, tilting the pelvis, lifting up off the mat, pressing through the feet, coming all the way up to the shoulder blades, engaging the glutes at the top, holding here, lifting the hands up. Let's sweep the arms up overhead. And then sweeping them back up and over, nice and controlled. Hips stay as still as we can here. And then once our palms reach the mat, working our way back down until the back is flat on the mat. Good. Adding on our next layer on this next one now. Again, coming up just as we did before. Rolling our way up to the shoulder blades, lifting the hips up, engaging the glutes, holding here. And this time, as we sweep the arms up overhead, can we lift the heels off the mat? So we're coming up onto the balls of the feet. Good. As we sweep the arms overhead, working our way back to the mat, let's take the heels back down. And then we're working our way back down to the mat. Nice and slow. Good. One more just like this. Reset at the bottom, taking a breath in here. And then as we exhale, tilting the pelvis, pressing through the feet, lifting up to the shoulder blades, holding here, freezing those hips nice and still, lifting up off the heels as we sweep the arms up overhead. Good, sweeping the arms back, dropping down onto the heels, nice and controlled, and then working our way back down. Good, okay, final one, coming up into our bridge, and we're gonna work through a few of these arm sweeps and heel lifts. So we're pressing up into our bridge, holding here, hips stay nice and still, they're not dropping. Sweeping the arms up overhead, and let's lift the heels up. Good, sweeping the arms back, dropping down onto the heels, and we're sweeping those arms straight back up overhead, lifting the heels up once more. Good, dropping down onto the heels as we sweep the arms back. Let's do that 2 more times. Lifting the heels up, sweeping the arms up overhead, sweeping the arms back, dropping down onto the heels. And then last one, making sure those hips are still nice and high, they're not dropping. Sweeping the arms back, taking palms back down onto the mat, heels come down, and then we work our way back down, bringing the hips all the way down to the mat. And then relax. Good, well done. Okay, from here, coming to work into our core with some curl ups to start. Taking hands behind our head this time, elbows out wide, we're interlacing fingers together. Legs stay in the position that they're in for now, and let's relax our head into our hands onto the mat. Good, okay, taking a breath in to prepare here. And then as we exhale, we're curling up, lifting the head and shoulders, chin tucked in towards the chest. And then inhale to drop the head and shoulders back down. Good, exhale to lift. And inhale to lower. Focusing on our core as we curl up. And then nice and controlled as we release the head back down. Good, let's do 2 more here. Amazing. Last one like this. And then on this next one, adding on a tabletop march now, our next layer. So as we curl up, lifting the head and shoulders, we're going to bring the left leg up to tabletop. And then tap that foot down as the head comes down. And we're swapping legs. So we're bringing the right leg up to tabletop as we lift the head and shoulders. Taking that foot down as the head comes down. And swapping sides. Curling up, lifting the left leg back up to tabletop. Dropping that foot down as the head comes down. And swapping sides. Good. Toes pointed as we lift those legs. Shins parallel to the ceiling. Amazing. On this next one, lifting the head and shoulders, lifting the leg up to tabletop, and let's hold here. Imprinting our spine, so we're closing any gap between the lower back and the mat, really drawing our belly button down. And then we're going to bring both legs up to tabletop. Toes are pointed, shins parallel to the ceiling. Keeping the legs nice and still now, let's drop the head and shoulders back down and coming back into our curl ups from this position. So as we exhale, heeling the head and shoulders up off the mat, chin tucked in towards the chest, and inhale to release back down. Good, we've got 5 more here. Amazing. Core is nice and strong for 4. Last 3. Amazing. 2. And on 1, we're going to finish with a hold, lifting the head and shoulders, chin tucked in towards the chest. Let's hold it here, taking hands out from behind the head and extending the arms long, bringing the hands towards our hips, palms hovering just above the mat, and let's beat the arms up and down here, coming into our 100 exercise. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. If we want to make this more challenging, we can extend the legs long here, keeping the head and shoulders lifted, chin tucked in towards the chest for 6. 5. You can do it. 4. Amazing work. 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's bend those knees, hug the knees in towards the chest, take the head and shoulders down. And relax into a stretch here. We can circle the knees around. We can rock from side to side, whatever feels good here. Just take a moment. Oh, well done. Okay, when you're ready, holding onto the shins, can we rock our way up to seated? Good, and then coming on to our next exercise. Let's come on to the left hip from here. Resting down on the left forearm, we want the elbow underneath the shoulder. Bottom knee is bent and the top leg is straight. Resting the right hand whatever is most comfortable, so onto the hip or onto the mat in front. Starting here with a leg lift and lower. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift that top leg up just to around hip height. And then inhale to lower back down. Good, we keep that going, lifting the leg up. And inhale to lower. Looking for length here rather than height. So keeping that leg nice and long and focusing on that rather than how high we're lifting up. Good, we want to keep the chest nice and lifted here. Core engaged so that the body is still. We just want to be moving from that leg. Amazing, we're here for 4. 3. Adding our next layer in 2. And on 1, lifting the leg up and holding it lifted. From here, let's flex the foot and sweep the leg forward. We want to sweep the leg forward until thighs are in line, pointing the toes here and send the leg back until it's in line with the body. We flex and sweep the leg forward, pointing the toes and sweep the leg back, keeping that leg at hip height. We're sweeping forward and back. Core needs to be engaged here to help keep the body still. Again, we just want to be moving from that leg. Working into the right hip and glute here. We flex and sweep the leg forward, pointing the toes and sweep the leg back. Take a moment to check in with your form here. We don't want to be slumping in to the shoulder. We want to make sure upper body is still nice and lifted. Let's do 2 more. And last one, flexing the foot, sweeping the leg forward, pointing the toes and sweep it back. Holding here, keeping that leg lifted. We're going to finish here with some circles. So we're drawing some little circles with our toes, keeping that leg at around hip height. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. And then let's reverse those circles, drawing circles the other way. Oh, really working into that hip now for 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg all the way down and give the bum a pat. Well done. Pressing up from here and coming into our bridge stretch. So we want to take the heels out in front of the body, and then we're going to drop the knees over to the left side. Pressing into the left hand on the mat, we're going to lift the hips up and stretch the right arm up towards the ceiling. And you should feel a nice stretch down into that hip that we worked. Amazing, and then lowering the hips all the way down from there. Good, well done. Okay, from here, coming on to hands and knees. So we want hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips, and we're engaging our core here. So drawing that belly button in, bringing the ribs down towards the hips slightly. And then when you're ready, we're going to extend the left leg long, toes pointed, just touching the mat. And starting as we did in our last exercise with a leg lifted lower. Taking a breath in to prepare. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift that left leg up and then inhale to lower back down. Lifting up just until we feel the glutes engage and then lowering back down. Good. Similar to the exercise before, looking for length here rather than height. So keeping those toes pointed, leg is nice and long rather than focus on how high we're lifting. Amazing. We're here for 4, 3, adding on our next layer in 2. And on 1, if we're feeling comfortable here now, we can lift that leg up, holding it lifted. Adding on an arm lift now as well. So we're lifting up the right arm. So opposite arm, opposite leg are lifted. And then as we take a breath in, let's tap the hand and foot down to the mat. And then lifting back up again, coming into our bird dog. Lifting the opposite arm, opposite leg, and lowering back down. Good. Exhale to lift. And inhale to lower. Focusing on our core here now as well. We don't want the belly to be dropping down. We want to keep the back nice and straight. Good. Let's do that for 4. Amazing. Lots of concentration needed here. Eye gaze should be towards the top of the mat. Last 2. And then on 1, let's lift the arm, lift the leg, and hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lower the arm, lower the leg all the way down towards the mat. Taking the heels together, knees out wide, sinking down towards the heels. Let's stretch the arms out in front and relax the head down in between the arms for a child's pose. Taking some deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Amazing. Okay, when you're ready, let's bring the body back up and we are coming on to the other side. Hands come back underneath our shoulders and knees underneath our hips again. And then this time let's extend the right leg long. Toes pointed, just touching the mat. Core is engaged. Taking a breath in to prepare. And then as we exhale, lifting that leg up and inhale to lower back down. Again, just lifting up until we feel the glutes engage and lowering back down, toes just touching the mat. Good, nice and controlled movement. We just want to be moving from that leg. Everything else should be nice and still. Amazing, we're here for 4, 3, good, 2, and on 1, adding on our next layer, let's lift the leg up, holding it lifted. If we feel comfortable here, we can extend the left arm up now as well. Focusing on our core now too, lowering the foot down, lowering the hand down, and then lifting back up. Inhale to lower, and exhale to lift. Focusing on our balance here. Balance comes from our core. Eye gaze towards the top of the mat. Exhale to lift, and inhale to lower. Good, let's do that for 3, 2, checking in with your form, making sure the back's still nice and straight. We don't want the belly dropping down. And then on this next one, let's lift the leg, lift the arm up, and hold here to finish for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the arm down, lower the leg all the way down. Good, and then let's sink down towards the heels. Relaxing the head down. And then pressing back up. Amazing, well done. From here, we're coming on to our other side now. So coming onto the right hip and the right forearm this time. Elbow should be underneath our shoulder. Bottom knee is bent and the top leg is straight, toes pointed. Resting the left arm, whatever's most comfortable, onto the hip or onto the mat in front. Taking a breath in to prepare. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift that top leg up just to around hip height. And then inhale to lower back down. And we keep that going. Exhale to lift. And inhale to lower. Good, working into that left hip and glute now. Everything else stays nice and still. Chest is lifted. Good, let's do that for 3, for 2, and then on 1, lifting the leg up and let's hold it lifted. Flexing the foot, we're going to sweep the leg forward until thighs are in line. Pointing the toes, we're sweeping the leg back until it's in line with the body. Flex and sweep the leg forward. Point and sweep the leg back, making sure our core is engaged here to keep the body still. We just want to be moving from that leg. Should be feeling this into the hip now, sweeping the leg forward. pointing the toes and sweeping the leg back. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in one way and exhale the other way. Last one. Point and send the leg back. Let's keep the toes pointed and finish with those circles. Drawing some little circles with our toes, keeping that leg at around hip height. We've got 3, 2, and 1, and then we're reversing. Drawing some circles the other way for 3, making sure the upper body's still nice and lifted. Last 2, and then last 1. Let's lower that leg all the way down. Well done. Giving the bum a pat. Pressing back up, and then coming into our bridge stretch again. This time we're dropping the knees over to the right side. Pressing into the right hand, we're going to lift the hips up and stretch the left arm up towards the ceiling. Holding that stretch into the left hip that we worked this time. Good. And then lowering the legs all the way down. Amazing. Okay, coming on to our final exercise now, and then we will finish with some stretching. So coming back to face the front of the mat and onto our bum. We want the legs out straight in front, and we're going to point the toes. Bringing our attention to our posture, we really want to lengthen through the spine here, sitting up nice and tall, and then we're going to take the arms out in front, palms facing in towards each other. Starting here with a roll down, we're going to take a breath in to prepare. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to round through the spine and roll back. So you want to think of bringing your spine into a C curve, and we're working our way down nice and slow, one bone at a time. And then once our head reaches the mat, sweeping the arms up overhead. Amazing. Reset here. Let's take a breath in. And then as we exhale, sweeping the arms back up overhead. And then we're peeling the spine up off the mat, chin tucked in towards the chest, working our way up, using our core back into that C curve. And then once we reach that seated position, resetting our posture at the top, sitting up nice and tall. Good, let's do that again. As we exhale, tilting the pelvis, rounding through the spine, working our way down, using our core. Nice and slow and controlled. Once our head reaches the mat, sweeping the arms up overhead. Reset here in this position. Let's take a breath in. And then as we exhale, sweeping the arms up overhead and then lifting up, using our core. Heels should be pressed into the mat if we can, working our way back up and then lengthening through that spine at the top. Good, okay, on this next one, switching it up slightly, we're going to do a half roll down. So just as we did before, tilting the pelvis, rounding through the spine, and this time we're just going to roll halfway back to the mat. Holding the core nice and strong here. And then we work our way back up to seated, sitting up nice and tall at the top. Good, let's do that again. Rounding through the spine, finding that C curve, chin tucked down slightly, working our way halfway back to the mat, and then working our way back up. Good, adding on an arm sweep now on this next one. Tilting the pelvis, rounding through the spine, we're working our way halfway down towards the mat, and holding the core nice and strong here. Let's sweep the arms up overhead, sweep the arms back down, and we're working our way back up. Lengthen through that spine at the top. Good, let's do that again. Rounding through the spine, finding that C curve, chin tucked down, working our way halfway back, holding that core nice and strong. Let's sweep the arms up, sweep them back down, and then working our way back up. Good, final one here. Tilting the pelvis, let's work our way back. Nice and slow, halfway back towards the mat, and then holding here. Keeping the arms where they are, we're going to come back into a tabletop march now. So nice and slow, can we bring that left knee up to tabletop? Placing that leg back down and swapping sides. Keeping the upper body as still as we can, moving one leg at a time. Bringing that leg up to tabletop and place it back down. And swapping sides. Good, let's do one more each way. Toes pointed. On this next one, bringing that leg up to tabletop And final challenge to finish. Can we bring both legs up to tabletop? And holding here for 5. If you want to progress this, we can extend the legs long and hold for 3, 2, and 1. Bending the knees. Let's place one foot down at a time, working our way back up, sitting up nice and tall, and then relax the hands down. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Amazing, well done. From here, let's finish with a little bit of stretching and starting with a full body stretch. So let's extend the legs out straight again, pointing the toes really nice and slow. We're going to work our way down to the mat, taking the back all the way down to the mat this time. And then sweeping the arms up overhead, coming into a full body stretch. So we want to lengthen through the fingers and toes here. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. From here, let's sweep the arms up overhead, taking palms down onto the mat, and then we'll come into a glute stretch from here. Bending both knees, bringing the feet in closer to the bum. And then we're going to lift the left leg up, taking that foot across the right thigh, reaching up, clasping behind the right thigh, and we want to bring the legs in closer to the body to deepen that stretch, relaxing the head back down. Good. From here, we can extend the right leg up towards the ceiling as well, and circle that foot around a few times for some ankle mobility. Circling a few times one way, and then reversing. Perfect. Bending that right knee again, and then let's swap legs with our glute stretch. Taking right foot over the left thigh, reaching up and clasping behind the left thigh, and bringing the legs in closer to the body, holding that stretch into the right glute. Adding on our ankle mobility again, let's extend the left leg up towards the ceiling and circle the foot around a few times. Might notice some cracks here. Few times one way, and then reversing those circles. Good, and then from here, bending the left knee, taking the right foot off the thigh, clasping onto the hamstrings and rolling our way up to seated from here if we can. Extending the legs out in front and flexing the feet. Taking arms out in front, we're going to stretch over towards the toes and bring the head down in between the arms. You should feel a stretch down the backs of the legs here, but we're also stretching into our spine. So you want to draw your belly button in and imagine your lower back pushing out behind. Good, just taking a few breaths here. Great, bringing the head back up. And then let's finish with our legs crossed and coming into a side bend. Pressing the left hand into the mat, let's sweep the right arm up and over. And then switching sides. Good, finishing as we started with a little bit of neck mobility. So we're going to drop the ear down towards the shoulder on one side. And then coming up through center and over to the other side. Good, bringing the head back up through center. And then let's roll the shoulders out a few times. Bringing the shoulders up towards the ears, back and down. Taking a breath in as we bring the shoulders up. Breathing out as they come back and down. Good, let's do that one more time. Bringing the shoulders all the way up. Breathing out as we bring the shoulders all the way down. And that is you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's class. and I will see you soon.